Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Eliott Wave update for Chainlink, kind of a time sensitive one, so I wanted to get that out. So I'm going to focus on the smaller time frames in a moment, but just wanted to show you on the 4 hour what I have proposed as my primary count. That is from our significant low at 476. We had a 5-wave move to the upside. As per guidelines, you can see we just came through the 618 for our wave 2. Between the 236 and the 382 for our wave 4 as expected. Our third wave target initially was 1420. We came back by that and extended. And our fifth wave target was the length of wave 1 off of wave 4 because the third wave was extended at 2169. You can see we just ticked it right there, almost right to the tick, which is always nice to see. Now you can see my pitchfork isn't being used ideally here. It's not respecting the pivots, but if you take the beginning of wave 1 off the end of wave 2, extend that from the top of wave 1, this is the area you expect your wave 4 to pivot from, right off the top end of that channel. So at this zone, we had a 236, 382 top end of the channel, targeting that 1-to-1. So you can see it was pretty much ideal. So now that we have that established, when we start drifting out of the pitchfork finally, that's when we expect a wave to be complete. Not a rule, just a guideline. And after that, we are looking for a correction to the 382 to the 618 for our wave 2. We're looking for a larger version of this, basically. So after this larger wave 2 completes, we're looking for a third wave after the fact on a larger degree. Now, as per targeting for that, we're looking for, similar to this third wave, a 1.618 extension of the entire 1 and 2, which I have proposed as potentially complete as we speak. So if this pivot holds at 11.05, our target is the 1.618, which is all the way up at 126. So a pretty good potential upside here of around 800%. Okay, so we're going to focus on the correction now. So this was a complex correction, triple combination. Reason being, our fifth ended up here. You can see we made a higher high. I couldn't count 5 waves in this wave. So the best way to count that is a combination. So we had a flat X, zigzag X, and another zigzag over here, W, X, Y, X, Z. Now this can turn into something else if we happen to fail in this area, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to that. As for right now, you can see of the entire move, we passed through the 382 or between the 382 and the 50, but this is where you have to use both scales. On linear scale, we hit the 618 right here. So a potential pivot is in. Now I'm going to talk about these smaller time frames. I have 2 counts I'm working with right now. One is extremely bullish, one is not. Okay, so first we're going to go with extremely bullish scenario. I'm about 50-50 on both these counts. Both have different invalidation levels. So first of all, I have a wave 1 and 2 as a flat. In a flat, the B wave makes a higher high, just like I showed you on the larger correction, and the C wave protects the A in a running flat. So we have that marked out as a 1 and 2 with a running flat. This is also our second 1 and 2. So we go to our log scale. On log, you can see we did not hit the 1% for our second 1, 2. This is why I have this as an option. I usually target the 618 extension, but as long as it doesn't get bigger, I consider this a very viable option. Now it can be larger than the 1-to-1, just less probable, right? So since this is a very probable option, I need to include this. So you can see our target for a third wave is 1646, but if this is 1212, that's obviously way too close. We'd go to extended targets, which is the 2.618. I then take our second 1-2, put on our extensions as proposed, done. We'd look for our third wave in green at 1780. Fourth wave, rough, around $16. I use the 100 just for roughly, since we don't have that wave yet. Our fifth wave between the 200 and 2.236, which you can see lines up with that 2.618 for our larger third wave. So this is one of my main counts. So if you agree with this and you decide to trade this yourself, obviously the invalidation level of this count is this wave 2. Now this can become something bigger as like an ABC, then we go, but then you'd have your strategies to get in there. So for this exact count, you'd want your stop at that wave 2. So if we get impulsive here, I'd expect this third wave to end around 1978. So this is scenario 1. Scenario 2, I think, is just as viable, is the diagonal wave 1. This is where we have a WXY for our wave 1. Most likely a double zigzag. We have our wave 2, it came to the 50. That's pulled from this move. We then had an ABC for our third wave. Had our fourth wave come to the 50, looking for our fifth wave as an ABC. If this is the case, we would expect a correction after this fifth wave. This becomes a 1 and 2. Now, what's nice about when you get diagonals like this is there are trade opportunities. If you see a top forming, I'd expect a little throw over here for our fifth, even a spike in volume. But what's nice about that is if you decide to scalp this short, your stop should be just past the 100%, like one tick. Because the third wave is shorter than the wave 1, wave 5 cannot be shorter than wave 3. That's where you can get edge in this potential short if you choose to take it. Because third wave can't be the shortest in a diagonal. You can see we also have overlap between wave 1 and 4. So it looks quite nice either way. But if we just get our standard correction here, targeting around the 50, see it ends somewhere around here. You can see it's a nice little trade setup. Even the 382 is 7.5 to 1, depending on your entry. But it's a nice trade setup either way. I'm going to be paying attention to that because I would like to take advantage of that if I see a topping form. So those are our two options. Invalidation of this diagonal is at 15,946. That's invalidation. 15,946 of the diagonal, where if we start blowing through that, I'd be like, okay, we have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, but you can see both options are very viable. I'm long right now, but if we get that topping form I'm looking for, we just get an ABC. I currently see a micro 5. This could also be a flat wave 4. We get one more pump and come back. But the 1.618 extension of the first wave, this is just rough. Wave 1 off of that wave 2 for that AB is the 1.618's at 1540. The 1-to-1's at 1470, but I'd like to see a top end touch of that channel. So we'll see where we target here as we pan out. But yeah, it looks quite nice. Chainlink, very high targets potentially, but you also have to keep in mind this is just a bullish point of view. Right now we just have a 3-wave move. So if this happens to whatever reason start collapsing, we have to obviously invalidate both these counts. All right, so those are our bullish point of views. We have the impulse, which has our third wave target around 1980. And we have our diagonal, which gets invalidated at 1594.6. On your exchange, you'll have to just take the beginning of this wave 3 as an ABC, extend it off the fourth wave, and put the 1-to-1 on. So if we come past that 100, this count is not valid anymore. All right, guys, that's it for Chainlink. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.